In today's video, we are going through the answers to the Unit 2 remediation sheet. Numbers 1 through 3 are on the order of operations. On number 1, we have parentheses with the expression 27 plus 3. That equals 30. Then I see I have multiplication and division. We need to do those from left to right. So 30 divided by 10 is 3. 3 times 5 is 15. 15 plus 4 is 19. Number 2, in the parentheses, 9 minus 4 is 5. Next, we would do the exponent. 5 cubed is 5 times 5 times 5, which is 125. And 25 plus 125 is 150. Number 3. We do have parentheses, but look carefully. This set of parentheses represents multiplication. It's representing 7 times 5. So the first thing we need to do in number 3 is your exponent. 3 to the 4th power is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, which is 81. Next, we have multiplication and division, so we need to do them from left to right. 42 divided by 7 is 6. 6 times 5 is 30. 30 plus 81 is 111. Numbers 4 through 9 are similar to the first 3, except we need to substitute the value of the variable. 8h minus 7 when h equals 4. 8h represents 8 times 4. 8 times 4 is 32. 32 minus 7 is 25. Number 5, 5h squared. So that's 5 times 3 squared. 3 squared is 9. And 5 times 9 is 45. Number 6, AB plus 6. A equals 2. Oops, sorry. A equals 2. Times b, which is 8, plus 6. 2 times 8 is 16. 16 plus 6 is 22. Number 7, a squared minus 2 plus 10. A is 6. We need to do what's inside of parentheses first. 2 plus 10 is 12. Now do your exponent. 6 squared is 36. And 36 minus 12 is 24. Number 8, 9 times the sum of a plus 2. A is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. Remember, this represents 9 times 7. 9 times 7 is 63. Number 9, d cubed. D cubed would be 6 cubed, which is 6 times 6 times 6. 6 times 6 is 36, and 36 times 6 is 216. Numbers 10 through 12 are on volume and surface area. Remember, the volume and surface area formulas will be given to you. In this example, surface area is right here, so 6s squared. And volume is s cubed. On number 10, we are substituting the side length of 3 inches. So we need to do 6 times 3 squared. I plugged it right into my formula for surface area. We should do our exponent first. 3 squared is 9. And 6 times 9 is 54. Remember your units for surface area. We would say inches squared. Now for the volume of this same cube, volume is s cubed, so we should do 3 cubed. 3 cubed is 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27 inches cubed. Numbers 11 and 12, do not let the decimals and fractions confuse you. All it means we need to do is plug in 4.2 into your formula. So 6 times 4.2 squared. When you work out 4.2 squared, you will get 17.64. And then 17.64 times 6 is 105 and 84 hundredths. Your units would be feet squared. For volume, we need to do 4.2 cubed. So 4.2 times 4.2 times 4.2. We already know 4.2 times 4.2 is 17 and 64 hundredths. So we need to do 17 and 64 hundredths times 4.2. When you do 17 and 64 hundredths times 4.2, you get the answer of 74 and 88 thousandths feet squared. Cubed for volume. Number 12, your side length is 1/4 of a meter. So we do the same process. We need to do 6 times 1/4, and we want to square 1/4. 1/4 squared is 1/4 times 1/4, which equals 1/16. And then 6 times 1/16 is 3/8 meters squared. The last part for this section, volume, 1/4 cubed. Remember, that would look like 1/4 times 1/4 times 1/4. 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. 4 times 4 times 4, 64. So 1/64 meter cubed. Numbers 13 through 20. Number 13, if a drink costs X dollars, what is the cost of 4? And on your sheet, that should say 4 drinks. If I want to buy 4 drinks, I'm going to multiply the cost by the amount of drinks. So if I want to multiply X times 4, mathematically we would write 4X. Number 14, if dinner cost X dollars, what is the cost of splitting the dinner between 6 people? If I'm splitting the dinner, the total cost of the dinner, that represents division. So I would have X divided by 6. Numbers 15 through 20, 8 less than a number. Less than, remember, it's one of those turnaround words. So we need to come over here and find where it's turned around, which is X minus 8. So number 15 is B. Number 16, the sum. Sum is your keyword for addition. The sum of 8 and number would be 8 plus X. Number 17, 8 decreased by a number. So we start with 8 and then we will subtract a number. 8 minus X matches that expression. Number 18, the product of 8 and X. Product is multiplication, so I need to find where it says 8 times X. 8X represents the product of 8 and X, so option A. Number 19, double X plus 8. Double means we need to multiply by 2 and then add 8. Well, that matches 2X plus 8. And then the last one, number 20, half of X. If I want to find the find half of X, I need to divide it by 2. So this one matches X divided by 2, option C. Numbers 21 through 22, we need to find which expressions would represent 1/2 of X. 1/2 of X means I need to multiply 1/2 and X, or it represents dividing X by 2. So if I look at this list, this one represents 1/2 multiplied by X. This one represents X divided by 2. This one is X divided by 2. And since the commutative property works, we can do X times 1/2 as well. Number 22, 1/3 of X means I need to multiply 1/3 and X, or divide X by 3. This first option shows me X divided by 3. This one is 1/3 times x. That one doesn't work. This one matches because of the commutative property. We don't need 3 times x. We need x divided by 3. And then this is 3 divided by x, so we don't need that option. Numbers 23 through 25, you're looking at the equivalent expressions and figuring out if the property was used correctly. Numbers 23, x plus y plus 7x equals x plus 7x plus y. If we look, all that happened was the order was switched. We can switch the order when we're adding, so this one is correct, and it's because of the commutative property. Commutative property says you can change the order when adding and multiplying. Number 24, 3 times x squared plus 8 equals 3x squared plus 24. This looks like the distributive property. Let's see if they did it correctly. 3 times x squared is 3x squared. 3 times 8 is 24. So yes, this is equivalent, and they used the distributive property. In the last one, number 25. 9 plus 4x is in parentheses, plus 2x, equals 9 plus 4x plus 2x is now in parentheses. The grouping is what changed. Which property says we can change the grouping when adding and multiplying? The associative. So yes, this property was used correctly, and it was using the associative property. The last section, 26 through 28, is on combining like terms. A plus A plus A. Remember, there is the coefficient of a 1 in front of all of these. So 1A plus 1A plus 1A gives us a total of 3A. Number 27, we can only combine like terms. 9A minus 3A is 6A, and then combine your constants. 3 plus 5 is positive 8. 6A plus 8 is your final answer. You cannot combine these because these are not like terms. In the last one, 3x squared plus 6x squared, these are like terms because they both have x squared. So 3x squared plus 6x squared is 9x squared. Numbers 29 through 30, you need to simplify the expression using the distributive property. Remember, distributive property means we need to multiply the number outside of the parentheses by the numbers inside of the parentheses. 3 times 2m is 6m, plus 3 times 4 is 12. 6m plus 12 is your final answer. You cannot combine those. Number 30, 5 times 4x is 20x. 5 times 8 gives us minus 40. 20x minus 40 is your final answer. In the last one, 4 times 2x squared is 8x squared minus 4 times 2, 8. 8x squared minus 8 is your final answer.